Oh my goodness, welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited to relaunch the channel. So this is the Sierra program. Formerly I was kind of abbreviating it, calling it TCP. And what this channel is about all things mental health, well-being, healthcare, and family. So I'm a marriage and family therapist. My name is Rashina T.C. Viverette, and I just want to inform those that may not be aware of different things that impact our mental health, how we can improve our mental health, and when we improve our mental health, we're therefore improving our overall well-being. So, welcome back. Today, I want to launch a mini series called The Power of Choice. And so where this comes from is I was doing some reading recently, and I had written out a note to myself that talked about choices being dangerous and choices being the things that make us who we are. And so I kind of want to tie that into our mental health, our family dynamics, our relationships, and again, all things well-being. So when we talk about choice, we talk about those things that are implications for what we're about, right? And so I'll give you some examples as we're discussing this. Right now, I'm working with a handful of young people, teenagers, preteens, and things like that. And so they are definitely in this age of what choices do I make? And unfortunately, when they're as young as they are, the brain isn't as developed as an adult brain. And so the idea of consequences, and especially long-term consequences, it's not really there for them. And so this idea of choice is somewhat limited for someone in a teen, preteen age range. However, for adults, we've gotten to a place with our long-term memory, especially in our long-term thinking, especially where we're able to really think through, well, what are the consequences, particularly long-term, for the different choices that we make? So I wanted to kind of talk about, especially since, it's April, it's the beginning still of the year, we're kind of getting into things. Spring is dawning upon us. We're getting freshness all over the place. And so with that usually comes some inspiration, right? And so at the beginning of the year, we have what's called New Year's resolutions. And all of a sudden, people are just brewing with ideas and brewing with these thoughts of how they can make positive changes in their lives. Well, what happens? Just a few weeks, maybe a month or so into New Year's, we drop those resolutions. All of a sudden we decide it's not worthwhile. We're not going to pursue continuing to make whatever lifestyle change that may be. And so what happens? We lose motivation, we lose inspiration, we lose our drive towards those changes. And then we find ourselves continuing to repeat patterns that we previously were in, and then we don't see any long-term change happening in our lives. Well, choice. There's always choice. And sometimes we tend to believe ourselves kind of stuck as though we don't have options. Well, one good thing that we can do when we're feeling like we're in between options, in between choices, or we're feeling somewhat stuck, we can do a pros and cons list. This is always helpful. I have a lot of clients do this in session, or I'll assign it as homework, and we really talk through what happens if you follow this or this. What is a consequence potentially of this choice versus this choice? And especially with my young people, having them to really pause and think through consequences. I've done it with my own teenagers, and so I find this to be a helpful tool when really getting people to think through what is it that you really want to accomplish and what is it that you really see happening down the road. So this is part one of the series, The Power of Choice mini-series. And again, I'm just super excited to relaunch the channel and to have you join me. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes and our journey together. So until next time, be blessed and be very well. Thanks.